All right, boys, so today we're going to be taking a look at the Asrock Z790 Nova. So the Z790 Nova, this motherboard has been getting the praise online for about the last month or so. And why? Because apparently people have been hitting 8,000 megahertz on this motherboard. Now, we all know how valid those statements are. But the goal of this video is twofold. Is the QVL memory support list for this motherboard a complete lie? And then two, what is the maximum memory frequency that we can get out of this thing? Now, before we get into any kind of testing, just want to say this motherboard is gorgeous. Very well designed, good color scheme, etc. It actually has a backplate with thermal pads behind the motherboard on it. So for what was this, $280? So far, the value of this thing compared to that Dark Hero, this thing is less than half the money, and I can already see that it's got equal or better features. So I mean, even if the memory support ends up being dog shit, it's still a well-priced motherboard for what the target audience is. Now, I just want to mention what I really don't like what Asrock is doing with this motherboard is if you go to all the other tech tubers that got sampled this motherboard, they all say in their talking points that they are able to hit 8,000 megahertz. This is a lie, by the way. It's not true. Now, if you actually go and ask them, did they hit 8,000 megahertz stable, they will reply to you and say, no, I just posted at 8,000. So as the viewer, you guys got to be really careful to see if it was a sampled product, a sponsored video, and what the talking points are, okay? Because 99% of the time, the tech tuber or the influencer is being paid to say those things, okay? It does not mean that they actually got 8,000 megahertz working properly. Now, whether that's ethically correct or not, hey, everyone's going to run their own channels how they want to run their channels, okay? You guys know me, I only talk about the truth here and facts. So with that being said, this video was brought to you by the supporters of the channel. All hardware on this channel is purchased with supporter-backed money from regular retail channels. Well, this one I got from Newegg, same as the customer. So when I buy products through retail channels, I am able to say whatever I want about the product. So if you guys value the truth and the vision here at Frame Chasers, head on over to framechasers.org, become a supporter, get access to the Discord, which has the best community on the internet. Not just tech, everything. On a serious note, though, the more that I do this, we're approaching 3 years here now, the more I realize how in desperate need the consumer is for real information. And I do thank the supporters of the channel for making this content possible. We are doing a lot of good out there, guys. We are saving people thousands of dollars in false advertising, false marketing purchases. So, speaking of false advertising, Asrock says this thing supports 8,000 megahertz RAM. Now, this 14900K that we're going to be using today for the benchmarks, this is the 8200 megahertz validated one. So this is like a best case scenario for this motherboard. All right, so with that being said, let's go upstairs, stick it on the test bench, and see how much frequency we can get out of this board. Okay, so I've got the Nova fired up over there. These two here are doing 24-hour stress tests for bundle orders on the website. Gotta be 24 hours Carhu, boys. You know the drill. So we're just firing it up. And let's just start with... What are we doing here? DRAM. XMP. Let's try 7600 first. See if that works. We're going to find the highest stable XMP first before we do anything else. Okay, so we're at 7600 XMP. Start. And I mean, like, give it 10 seconds here. I might have to go wait a while to see what happens. Yeah. Okay, I'll be back, I guess in an hour or two if this passes. Okay, so we got 8.5 hours here done at 7600 on the Nova. I don't have time to do 24 hours, but if you can stabilize 8 hours, then you, even if it errors after like 12 hours or whatever, you can stabilize 24 hours. This means it's actually possible to make it stable. So 7600 is a-okay on this motherboard. Okay, so we're doing 7733 now, and I'm at almost 40 minutes, right? And I'm thinking this is almost, it seems too good to be true. And then usually if it seems too good to be true, it is. So then what I do, I go over and I check the voltages that we're using here from Asrock. So Asrock on the Q is shoving in 1.45 volts. And then I'm guessing on the, where is it? VDD down here. Yeah, 1.5 volts. So basically what they're doing here is, this is kind of what Asus used to do back in the DDR4 days, where they would just shove 1.6 volts into your system agent to make it work no matter what, and then your chip degrades in 3 months, right? So, okay, so now I'm wondering if the reason why maybe everyone's kind of praising the Nova isn't for its actual stability. It's more that they don't know that these are suicide voltage. Well, maybe I shouldn't even say suicide. It's just these chips haven't been out long enough to know what a suicide voltage is. But 1.5, yeah, I don't go anywhere near that. And you don't have to, right? That's the thing. So, I don't know. All right, let's just try jumping straight to 8,000 here. With the voltages of before, these crazy ass high voltages. Let's just see what happens. Even with the suicide voltages, I'd be really impressed if this actually worked at 8,000. Well, it didn't insta crash, so it's already, oh, there it is. Okay, so yeah, okay, so even with these suicide voltages, 8,000's not happening, right? Okay, let's try 7,800 next. 8,000 didn't work. We're using the same crazy-ass XMP voltages for all of these tests right now. So, okay, so it errored in 6.5 minutes here at 7,800. So, let's try 7733 with custom voltages. Okay, so I got the Nova almost stable, 1 error after 3 hours. So I feel like if I had a bit more time, I could make this work, but 7600 definitely works. I'll keep trying, but I don't want to spend too much time on this. So I would say with maybe 2 weeks of effort, like really micro voltage adjustments, I could probably get this stable. Okay, so the Z790 Nova, it's a W, but it's kind of like a tainted W a little bit, just because of the marketing and the false advertising that Asrock's doing. It's a good board. So it does 7,600 for sure, 7,700 maybe. It's $280, and it's built very well. I feel like they could have just, well, the board is actually sold out, so maybe the false marketing actually works, but I feel like they didn't have to lie about the QVL in order to sell this board. It is a good board. It's a winner. So this thing is half the money of the Z790 Dark Hero, and it clocks higher on the memory. So, and not using suicide voltages either. I adjusted those voltages afterwards, and it still worked at 7,600 with some sane-ass voltages. So if you are looking for an ATX motherboard and you can't afford the Apex, this is a very good second option. I will leave an affiliate link down below for this board, but just kind of a warning, if you do enable XMP on this thing, make sure you go in there and reduce those voltages. You don't need 1.5 volts into your chip 24/7. So now that we've thoroughly tested the Dark Hero and the Z790 Nova, we've got one more on the chopping block, okay? We've got the Z790 Aorus Elite Christmas Triple X Edition. The newest Gigabyte refresh boards for 14th gen have an extra X in the title, right? But these motherboards, the QVL for these is 8266. So we're gonna put their claims to the test. Make sure to subscribe for that one so you don't miss it. because this one is also $280. So it might even actually be able to beat the Nova. We'll find out. So thumbs down for Asrock for lying about the QVL, but thumbs up for it actually being a good product anyway. Anyway, guys, I hope you learned something, and I hope you're able to make a more informed purchasing decision. And if you like the content, hit that subscribe button, do all that YouTube SEO stuff, like, share, subscribe, comment down below if you actually ended up picking up a Nova, what memory speeds you got it to, and how you feel about the QVL situation. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Talk to you later. Where are we going? That's the mailbox. What are you doing? Let's go. We're so far. No, we're not going to go that way. Lila, come on. Come on. Good baby. Look at you. What are you doing? Come on. Good baby. We're almost home. Good job. Good job.